Hi, Stacy. Hi, Marcella.
Hello.
Hey everyone.
I'll actually come on camera today. Um, so I believe um, this week we've got our first welcome call. Um, I'll look at my other screen if it looks like I'm looking away. Um, all right, let's see. Thank you, Stacy, for putting this in here. Um, yeah, in terms of agenda, I will give everyone just one more minute or so to join before we get started, but I'm going to add phone call to the agenda and um, that other thing called the mentorship. Mm, okay. If I was going to say, let's start with introductions. If anyone is new here, please feel free to say hi, tell us a bit about um, tell us a bit about who you are, how you found this group. I don't know, Sergio, if you want to say hi. If not, that's fine.
Okay, I'm Sergio and I work for CTI, which is the Computing Talent Initiative for the state of California, and we serve around I think 60 community colleges, 9 UC campuses, and I think 16 um CSU, I think. I don't have it top of my head, but I guess my um our goal or in our organization is to help students contribute to the open source ecosystem and try to find open source project that they could contribute on so they could put it on their resume. And I guess I came here just because I just want to learn. Oh,
Welcome. Thank you for joining. I think college level students is definitely one of the groups that we'd like to work with more in OpenSSF. So um, hopefully when we talk about the mentorship this summer, that will be something that you find useful and we can sort of collaborate more on that. Yeah. Uh, Thanks again for joining. Um, do we have any other opens to discuss today? I saw that Prince and Harmony you joined. Do you have any OSS Africa items you want to add to the agenda?
Um, Hi everyone. Good afternoon from here. Um, so we talked about the lists for conferences on our last call that we would want to attend and all. So Nana, Joa, and and Nejiro worked on one today. I think, if you don't mind, I can share the document here so
Okay.
that. Okay.
Um, I'll add that to the agenda.
Sorry.
I said I'm adding this
Okay.
discussion to the agenda. Put my glasses on actually. Okay. So I think the first item, um, sort of meeting notes section here.
Okay, so I've just dropped it in the chat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I see that Yesenia is here also. The first thing I had on the agenda was the welcome call. That's this Thursday, right?
Yes.
So, um, did we, I think what's missing here at this point, is I need to finish my part of the slides.
I'm going to post
Yeah.
in general and maybe a couple of the working group channels just to raise visibility and welcome anyone who's new to this call. I'm working on a social graphic right now. Is there anything that we want to say, like a one sentence sort of blurb about this that I can sort of put in there to encourage people to join us? So, like something like, hey, if you're new or not sure where to get started, etc.
I think not sure where to get started. We're going to be hosting a welcome call. And if you missed it, you can find it on YouTube after or something like that.
Perfect.
Yeah. Not sure where to get started in OpenSSF. It's hard to navigate. I think all the working groups and SIGs and what even is the difference between a working group and a SIG and those kinds of things. I think that'll be including those kinds of questions, I think, or rather saying we will answer those questions.
Cool.
So yeah, thanks for posting the presentation in the meeting notes. Yeah, I think maybe looking ahead for February, I will open the schedule really quickly. The schedule in February, we have the AI and ML working group. I forget, have we reached out to Mihai about this?
I thought someone had. I can check in with him again. I think he's going through a little bit of a transition right now, so I'm not sure where he's
Yeah.
at. But I can definitely ask him if February could be good timing.
Okay. Yeah, and it would be 4th or so, Thursday of February, so there's practically a month. I'm adding names here into speakers. Yeah. And it would be pretty cool if Jay could facilitate that one since he co-chairs the working group. Just volunteering him for that. Cool. Yeah. Just making sure we try to stay on top of that. So can I, you said, Stacy, you could take on reaching out to Mihai?
Yeah, I'm sending him a DM right now.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure Sarah would be willing to like be there with him and talk about it as well. Cool. Anything else about the welcome calls? Any questions, concerns, any topics we should bring up this Thursday? Go ahead, Prince.
Sorry, I just I wanted to ask if you could share um, the meeting notes document in the chat. I think you are muted, Marcella. I don't know if you were speaking. So I think
Yes,
yes.
Stacy just posted. Um, okay.
No, my only thing is if we have a few minutes, maybe we can just go through the slide deck after we go over the other topics.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Because I'll be honest, I haven't even opened them. I've been like very bogged down with some other stuff. But okay, so the next topic is why don't I just share my screen? Then I don't have to be switching back and forth. That should be good. So next topic was the summer mentorship prep. Um, um, we need to write up another funding request for the TAC. I think that's due sometime mid-February. Unfortunately, OpenSSF wasn't able to include mentorship in the sort of yearly budget this year, so they just asked us to reapply for the second year, and I think the odds that we don't get accepted are pretty low. But yeah, we should just go through the proper channels to do that. Open questions are prod participating projects. And number of mentees. And one of the things, just feedback that we got from last year, I think there need to be separate slots for newcomers or like first time contributors and kind of regular contributors. I think the expectations are would be low, not low, I'm sorry. They'll be different for each one. I think the barrier to entry is what's supposed to be lower for newcomers and first-time contributors versus folks that contribute regularly. We found that several of the mentees last year already had a pretty long record of contributions, but that didn't necessarily translate to long-term involvement in the project, and that's more what we're looking for. So, um, um, if possible, um, yeah, um, yeah. Go ahead, Stacey.
Yeah, so I was reaching out to a couple of projects to see if they would be interested. I think the SIG store one that I had, Hayden had said, "Oh, could you attend one of our whatever calls?" I think they were like like technical steering committee calls or something like
Yeah.
that. Um, and I wasn't able to do that, so I don't know if one of you might be able to just, but
Oh,
yeah, but Hayden was like, "Oh yeah, that would be like the process of like bringing you up there to see if." But he said they would probably be interested in doing
okay.
something with SigStore. I also reached out to a couple of other projects, but there was a lot of like, "Oh, what are the requirements and what is this and what is?" There were lots of questions that I did not have answers to.
Okay.
So I don't know what the best way to handle that is. If I should just like ping you, since you were kind of one of the leads, or Yesenia, just to see like if we could put together a simple doc that says, "Hey, if you're interested in doing this, here's kind of what we expect, and this is the length and the blah blah blah, all the details." Because I kept getting asked a bunch of detailed questions, and I was like, I don't have the answer to that. So maybe that would prompt some of the
Okay.
projects to get more involved if they know exactly kind of what the requirements are up front.
Yeah. Requirements and like expectations,
Yeah.
time commitment
And
is the thing
yeah,
people want to
yeah,
know.
exactly. Right.
Yeah. No, totally understand. And to some extent, each project, I mean, each project contributes as much as they can, which is maybe not a very helpful answer, but
I think there was
yeah.
also like, does this overlap with Linux Foundation mentees? Does this overlap with Google Summer of Code? Does blah, blah, blah,
Hmm.
etc.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can put together, I guess what is that relationship to LFX? Okay. Yesenia.
Yeah, I thought we had something slightly documented last year when we did it. I don't know if it was just a Slack channel that we just put it in, or if it was like a little quick document we put together. Maybe
Yeah,
within the funding request, it might be in there.
let's see. Um,
And Stacey, do you remember the list of questions, or do you have the list of questions that we could just start off with?
Or that people were asking me, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have a description of the requirements? Is there a deadline to indicate interest? Is there an example of expectations for mentors and mentees? Do the mentees receive a stipend of some sort? It would be good to understand how this fits in and is different from the existing LFX and GSOC programs. Like, is it
yeah,
GSOC is only summer while
Yeah.
LFX is all year round? And then who are you targeting? Are you targeting college students or folks already like somewhere in their professional careers or maybe in between jobs, et cetera, et cetera?
yeah,
If you have those written out, if you want to just dump them into the notes, and that way we can
Yeah,
just start with that.
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the
I'll just
short
start
answer
review
is it
documenting.
is the LFX mentorship program, but just for the summer cycle.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the really
Sorry, I
short
wasn't there at the beginning
version.
of the last like mentorship
Yeah.
program, so
No,
I
no
didn't
problem.
have all of these accessible.
Yeah, no, no, no. This is not on you. Yeah, but if you're looking for like a very quick answer, it's like if you're already familiar with LFX mentorship, that's what this is.
Yeah.
Just for the summer cycle. I don't think we have the bandwidth to host more than one cycle right now, but I think in the future,
Yeah.
where we have more funds or we have more mentors and it just picks up momentum, that'd be awesome. Thank you. Now I'm going to link this as well over here. Funding request.
Thanks.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, we should, I've got it to do here. Do we just want to share this also? Um, maybe I'll put the three of us over here and we can just all work on a doc together. I imagine at some point Kate will also look at it. So it's just going to be a nice group doc. Thank you. Okay, so I feel like there's one more thing I wanted to put here as a specific to do for myself. Look up 2026. I need to do that. All right, cool. Any questions, comments about?
I have a question. Is it possible for me, like, I guess next week to present like an initiative that we're doing in my organization to, I guess, improve for long-term involvement to open source project? Well, I guess I have like a presentation that I would like to share with, I guess, this group next week.
Yeah, I think our next meeting is in 2 weeks, but you can absolutely
Okay.
present.
Okay.
Yeah, we might have time
Um,
today, if you want to
It's just
present today.
I don't have all the material ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 no
in 2 weeks.
worries.
Yeah, what you can do is always just come in before the meeting. The agenda should be there ready for us, I think, the day of. And you can just put your agenda items so that we can have it and we can just flow with it.
Um, it's a meeting in 2 weeks. That's like February something.
10th.
Thank you. I have specific dates in February in my brain because I'm traveling, and so anything that is around there is just kind of a blur. Okay. All right. Then I think that brings us to the OSS Africa topic. I'll stop sharing if you want to share your screen prints.
Yes, please give me a second. Many times. Um, okay, sorry. Okay, so we came up with a list of conferences. We are not too sure whether or not we'll be able to attend all of them, but we're hoping to discuss what's on the list and gain some feedback from folks on the call, and especially yourself, Marcella, Stacy, and Yesenia, um, what we can do so that um, I think you mentioned having a booth at some of these conferences and even speaking at them. Well, for my part, I applied for Firstborn Con, but I'm having a feeling I should withdraw. Anyways, I haven't done that, but um, yes. So this is the list we have. Harmony reached out not long ago about adding to it, but yeah. So um, how do I put this?
Okay. So I don't know if you want to just share your feedback, Senya. I saw that you were putting some in the notes.
Oh,
Yeah, so um, one thing I just added four just to help with like how you're gonna organize and plan it with the group. Um, you can either make a table here or use like an Excel sheet. I use an Excel sheet for it, but to each their own. You would want to place the conferences in order of dates, right? That way, so you can start planning for the first one and the next one. For each, I would put who is attentive speakers, right? So, Prince is doing this one, you know, Ichiro's doing that one, Harmony's doing that one. That way you can like determine who's allocated and the time range and when to get the visas. Add the CFP date when it opens. So you can once again plan
sorry,
ahead and say, okay,
please go
what
on.
happened?
I didn't get the.
Add the
Okay, I
date of
think
the
okay.
CFP, the like call for paper. So then that
Okay,
way you can know when you have to submit. If they don't have it ready for that year, you can always look at last year. So if last year they posted it in May, just assume that they'll have it in May. And then the last thing to know is like for each of the conferences, it would be good for you to know if you're going to do a booth or if you're going to do speaking. And then as I was writing this up, you might also want to consider if you can't speak or if you can have a booth, maybe you can target the attendees and have an after conference meetup. So some people will do like a happy hour after conference and they'll host a happy hour. That might be an opportunity for you. Like if you can't do booth, you can't get a speaker at one of the Africa or like your local conferences, go ahead and try to do maybe like a happy hour. And I know Jiro was gonna jump in.
Oh, I was going to explain to Prince what we were trying to say, if he would hear me clearer. That was the only thing I was going to say. So possibly, are you saying that we should put this on an Excel sheet and get it back to you eventually?
You could have it on this sheet. For planning, it might be easier for an Excel sheet. Because like
Okay.
once you write your CFPs, you can have a CFP per document, and then you can link it. You can keep it on this sheet. That's just a recommendation.
Oh, okay, that works. I think I understand. That works. So I also feel like if we are going to put it on an Excel sheet so that it will make look more organized for the planning and everything, because I feel like if we are going to start making plans for this event, it has to come in a proper organized form with
Mhm.
each individual that are trying to attend the CFPs and the rest, which some of which will be ending soon. Is it possible that if we get this on an Excel sheet, we'll get feedbacks in the group eventually, like before our next call, because our next call is in like 2 weeks.
Mhm. Yeah, you can shoot it on the Slack and just tag us so it pops up on
Oh,
devices.
okay.
Go ahead, Stacy.
Thank you very much. So,
Yeah, I would also say that from a funding perspective, from the OpenSSF perspective, we will. Prince, you're still sharing your screen, FYI. Okay. Um, I would say from our perspective, if we're going to try and grow the OSS Africa community, we'd like to do it locally and regionally first. So if you have specific conferences that you all want to attend or have a booth at, etc., our preference in funding those, which again, we only have limited amount of funds for OSS Africa. So I would say make sure that you have a plan for the funding, right? So if you're going to apply to say, hey, talk to me, that's fine. I can pass this up the chain because we do have a certain budget approved already. But like, if you want to do PyTorch Ghana, PyTorch Kenya, et cetera, I would say those would be likely to get funding, a Prince and a Jiro can make it, or whomever, like write that up, submit it to us and say, hey, we'd love to represent OpenSSF. We'd love to have like a small booth, and we're also going to submit CFPs, and the cost will be $500 for Ichiro's hotel, $500 for whatever those costs are. Just make sure that those are all detailed out so that we know exactly what you're asking for, and so that we can get that proposal. You can get that proposal submitted and we can approve it within a timely manner. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure, it does. So one of the examples is, for example, the Prince, you want to say something?
no, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, so one of the example of such is the African Cyber Fest. I was trying to like get their sponsorship prospectus
Prospectus.
across to you, but
Yeah,
it has not been given to me. So when that is given to me, I'll send that across to you. That happens in
sure.
Lagos, Nigeria. So I'll send that across to you. Let's see how that goes. And it's also on the list. So maybe when we talk about it within ourselves, we can reach out to you for that and for others.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, reach out to me as much as you want regarding like, oh, we think we want to do these ones and at this cost, and here's who we think will go and how many nights of hotel they'll need, et cetera, right? All that would be super great detail along with this conference list. And or if you like Marcella and Yesenia were saying as well, like, oh, we want to attend, but maybe there's no room for us to have a sponsorship. Maybe we can just host a local meetup under the OSS Africa, meetup space. So we can look at doing that kind of stuff too. Marcel.
I think myself. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just waiting to see if Ejiro was going to respond. Um so yeah, one thing I would add maybe is I mean to everything that Jasenia said, because I agree. I mean, I personally also find Excel spreadsheets to be incredibly useful for organizing dates like that and events and scheduling. is to also start prioritizing which ones OSS Africa wants to focus on, right? Just because, are there going to be fewer visa issues, if you stay within the African continent, or are there going to be visa issues there as well? For example, I have heard of a few cases about that. And so, yeah, just kind of prioritizing, if you want to even include like visa application deadlines in your spreadsheet or in your table, that would probably be helpful as well, just for, again, planning purposes. I also had a question for Stacy. So when you say funding, this is not going through the TI funding or, oh, it is?
Correct. No, this is going through our allocated travel funding that we
Got
have
it.
that,
Okay.
how I think Prince and Ijoma and a couple of other folks have applied for travel funding through,
Yeah.
and we only have a certain amount. So
Yeah.
we're setting some aside for OSS Africa causes so that we can try and get some more support locally and regionally down there for everybody.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. Prince, you're next.
Yeah, so I think the original goal for discussing the idea of OSS Africa was to have it locally, given some of these barriers that are difficult to overcome as regards attending conferences. And so, yes, it's really a good idea to um, host conferences locally across the continent, or join or partner with such conferences. So that would be a priority for us. Perhaps I, I would say, yeah, if our first year was focused on, or first 2 years was focused on local events like this, it would really help us grow locally. And then, yeah, of course, we could complement these with international conferences to gain experience that we can transfer into hosting such events locally. So, yeah.
Yeah, like if if Prince, I can't remember where you're located, but if you wanted, like if you have a few people that are kind of distributed in different places, you could each have sort of local meetups, right? And then we can sponsor your local meetups, provide you with, food and beverages for your local meetup, or maybe we have a recording that we could send you that kind of explains who the OpenSSF is and things like that, right? And then you guys could be there to speak to your local crowds and kind of, get more involvement and things like that. We're happy to do that kind of thing too.
Yeah, so on that, I'm really glad that you just mentioned this. On this, I think one of our folks, um, Danny, he mentioned there's a Google AI community hub here where we can host um, events like
Yeah.
this. So,
Yeah, things like that or even if like you want to talk on like one of the local meetups about OpenSSF or OSS Africa and OpenSSF, we're happy to kind of support you in that avenue as well. Yeah, those are all great ideas. We love it.
right. So,
Okay, that makes
you
sense.
can reach out. Jeremy, please go ahead.
No, no, no. I just said, oh, that makes sense. That's a great idea. Aside looking at conferences that are already existing that we could be part of and try to like incorporate ourselves in, we could host like local meetups and try to see how we can share the knowledge or let people know about open source and security Africa and also let people know about OpenSSF.
Yeah, and even if like if you have to travel, but it's only like I don't know, like say you have to take a
Yeah,
train
yeah,
overnight, or things like this. Like we'll pay for the train
yeah.
ride, we'll pay for the hotel for a night, or whatever those things are. But like start thinking in those terms too, because I think that's a great way to grow OSS Africa locally and regionally in Africa, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, we want to support that as much as we can.
All right. So I think then would have to make a lot of changes to the list that we showed. So
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think
I think it's still good to like know all of the conferences that you'd in a dream world that you'd love to attend, right? Or submit talks to and things like that. Like that's all. I don't think you shouldn't include those, right? But I think we have to be strategic in how we grow the community locally, right?
um, there was something else I was about asking, but anyways, I'll ask if it comes to mind. Um, yeah, that is not related. I think I just got it. It's not related to conferences. So we are building a website. Um, we really need help with that, especially with regards to the content and guidelines, brand guidelines, and because we are being, like I say, sort of groomed by the OpenSSF. What should we put on there? What are we allowed to put? Um, it's not live yet, but we have. Give me a second. Let me type it in the chat. But you can still view it. So, pages. Yes. So, um, if you don't mind, I can also share the screen so that we looked at it. Okay.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So we made a lot of progress on this. Right. Okay. Okay. So one sec. That's it. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes.
All right. So this is what we currently have. We have an idea of having sort of like a documentary or something to put here, but it's just a generic um, video. Like we saw a random video we saw on YouTube that we put here. And then to things like what projects can we put here? Can we mention Linux Foundation or OpenSSF projects here? Because we just started out and we do not have mm, projects that we could say OSS Africa has Spectrum that we would put here. So is it okay to um, put OpenSSF projects here? And what events can we put here also? Are we allowed to do that? Um, yes. So this is what we've. My screen is sort of really big, so a little big. So that yeah, you get the idea. Um, and I think this, among other things, I would really appreciate if Stacy, I mean the our governing body, and, which is this group, and yourself, Stacy, if we could look at this, and um, we are kind of stuck on how to proceed. So if you could give us some advice on what we can populate the website, it would really be appreciated.
Yeah, so I think as a SIG under OpenSSF, I think you can and yeah, you're still sharing your screen. As a SIG under OpenSSF, I think it's okay for you to I, th I think the proper copyright notice would be Linux Foundation, if I'm not mistaken. You can point to the code of conduct for the working group, these kinds of things. Probably want to point to antitrust policy as well for Linux Foundation. So, do you mean to still be sharing your screen? Thank you. Um, yeah, I'm just checking. So, yeah, I think all of those things, because you're officially hosted under Linux Foundation, you can, and not just can, you should be using, I think, the Linux Foundation name. The copyright is the Linux Foundation on your website. Like I said, the code of conduct and the policies are the Linux Foundation ones. And yeah, like Yesenia was saying in the chat, I think the marketing team can absolutely support you with this. Um, just kind of getting you to getting you to the right documents so you can link them from the website. Um, in terms of projects, I would highlight the projects that OSS Africa is focusing on. And I wouldn't say that you don't have projects, right? You have a pretty big one, which is, um, you know, participation in in various conferences and growing the community. So, I mean, I would consider that to be one of your projects, is to say, we're trying to just foster communities at conferences through speaking, through community building, right? Through hosting meetups. Um, the reason why I have been maybe hesitant to say, like, yeah, just start posting random other OpenSSF projects is because if people start asking you about these projects and no one in OSS Africa is involved, then you have to become experts in projects that you're not working on, and I think that will be more difficult for you. So I'm not saying that you can't become involved in these projects and become experts. What I'm saying is that, like, you want to be able to speak like really genuinely about those projects, right? Like through your involvement, if that makes sense. So um, you know. If you want to include other projects that you want to highlight on your page, then absolutely, like, start going to those projects, to those working groups. Um, yeah. Does that make sense? Um,
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So I think like I said, I'll have to reach out a number of times to because there are a lot of questions. Unfortunately, my memory is really failing at this point to remember all of them. We've had a number of meetings, and that brings me to my next question. Thanks very much for your feedback on that, yourself, Stacey, and Yesenia. So I'll also reach out to the marketing team and ask for, like Yesenia suggested. Before I continue, I'd like to mention someone just joined the call. That's Nanajwa Ini. She and I are really have been working on a lot of these things. And just wanted to point her out. Nanajwa, welcome to the call. Um,
Thank you.
okay. So another thing too is that I saw this on the SIG lifecycle um, um, document that you shared with me, Stacy, and that at the sandbox stage, the ESIG may choose to host or have separate meetings from its um, governing body or working group. Its kind of working group. So I just wanted to ask. I'm not asking. I'm not saying that we are requesting for that, but I just wanted to ask if it would be necessary for us to do that or to request for that, or
If you have a date and time that you are gonna, and how often the recurrence is gonna happen, you can submit that through, I think it's operations at openssf.org. And they'll set you up just like the Working Group has their own um, meeting doc and calendar invite, et cetera, et cetera. They'll get that process going for you. Or you could ask it. I think there's a channel uh,
Slack,
in our
yeah.
OpenSSF Slack that is just like operations or something like that, that you could request it there as well. So once you have a definitive date and time and the recurrence, then you can request that then. and just let them know that you're a SIG that's under their working group, and they'll take care of it. And if you need help with that, let me know, and I'm happy to assist.
Sorry, I didn't get that last part. If I
Oh,
need,
I was just saying, if you need help, let me know, and I'm happy to assist.
sure. Thank you very, very much. So, yes, and then the questions are beginning to pour in. I don't know if we have enough time for. Otherwise, if there's anything else that is necessary to be discussed, we can look at that so that I do not block the time. Otherwise,
Um, yeah, so I was just going to add to what Stacy was saying. Because your question was also like, is a separate meeting necessary? The only reason I would maybe recommend a separate meeting, it doesn't have to be very often, right? It's just for time zone issues, right? This is the evening for a lot of folks, right? So, if you wanted to have a meeting just earlier in the day, I that's why I would recommend having a separate meeting. Um, that's not kicking anyone out of this meeting. I think it's good to have these syncs because, like you said, you've been asking a lot of questions, and I think that's fine. Um, and yeah, that's my only recommendation there. So just think about it. It's not a requirement to have a separate meeting. But like Stacey was saying, if you work through operations, they will really get you set up with everything you need, including your own Slack channel, which I don't think would be a bad idea either. To have like a SIG OSS Africa Slack channel. I think that will attract several people from the community as well. So yeah, just think about it and Stacey let us know what you decide.
sure. Okay, thank you. So, then, Stacy, could you please share how do I reach out on what we can do or
Yeah,
we should do?
I'll DM you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, I just want to add on to what Marcella was mentioning, and using the help with the operation team, it's going to offload a lot of that like administrative work from y'all. You'll have a set time. You can do it at a time zone that works with you. The team does a lot of work in like announcing upcoming calls for the week. So you'll be able to drive a lot of more people that are in the OpenSSF community to your calls, if they're available in that time zone. But we have folks in Europe that I'm sure would like, your time zone versus our time zone. And then that way you can get more people on your calls, helping you iron out the beginning of this process, being a part of this process, um, as well as like the added pieces. You'll have a Slack channel for it that you can drive people in. You don't have to maintain your own channels or whatnot. That way you can really focus on the growth of OSS Africa, with the support of OpenSSF. And then of course you can get the calls as well recorded and added to YouTube, and then you can use that for content creation, right? So there's a lot of benefits in leveraging the community in that aspect. Um, so I just wanted to throw that out there, that I do recommend it. And then Stacey,
Thank you.
go ahead. Yeah. I created I sent a request for the slides on my personal.
Okay, let me share that with you.
I
Sorry.
can I can share the screen.
Perfect.
All right. So, um, this is our logo for folks who are not aware. I just really like how it turned out, which is why I'm calling this out. But, yeah. Um, the agenda looks good. I don't know if you want to like Oh, we already have a couple of highlighted sentences. Um, we don't have the roadmap for 2026 yet, right? I know there are some key like focus areas that we had last year. I've heard of pillars this year. I don't it seemed a presence to me, but yeah, I think it would be kind of cool if we like if Steve already has like a draft of pillars that we may want to share. We don't need to share anything really specific, just like these are the kind of focus areas. I think that would be helpful. If there's
Yeah,
something like
I have to check and see what we can and share with publicly. I mean, it should all
sure,
be public, but still, it's like an internal staff
yeah.
thing so far that I've seen. But let me see if there's a public facing doc that we can share.
Yeah. And I'm really not asking for much. I'm really just asking for like, here are
Yeah.
the focus areas. We're not going to say anything like these working groups fit here. I think that's still up in the air, I think. Um, what we do, I think here, just like with the mission and vision, we probably want to highlight a couple of sentences. I'm going to add a note. Oops, my mouse is very touchy today. Um, Wait. That work? Hmm. Oh, okay. So we do actually already have like last year's. That's fine too, actually. I don't know if the this year's pillars are going to change too much from these focus areas. Um, I think we're trying to time it for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Is that right, Jasenia?
I had it for about 40-ish. The first like OpenSSF slides, we just kind of quickly go through. Like there's a lot of words there that we don't really need to
Yeah.
spend too much time on it. This was like the section um I wanted to spend the most time on. I don't know how to make this slide pretty or what to do to make this slide pretty, but I was like, we'll just put this and deal with that later. But I feel like 15, 16, and 15 to 18 will be the ones that we spend the most time on.
Yeah.
Um, and then everything else is just like a quick FYI. Here's some notes, um, things that people have recently accomplished so that, they can get inspired of like, oh, people have done this. If I join these working groups, I can also be doing things like this.
I like that.
Um, and then we
Yeah.
end with how to get involved. But we're sharing the slides anyway, so it's just like a quick run through.
Okay. Yeah, I still feel like there's like a
There's a
lot
lot
of
of slides.
a lot of slides, a lot of text. Yeah. This is
Yeah, I don't know if like members leading, participating in, I don't know if that one's necessary. I think some of these you can just sort of show it and then click through.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think you need to spend a lot of time. And
Mhm.
also with like 21 and below, I don't know if those are, you could just kind of run through them. We have education, there's tons of research, blah, 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 right? Like
Yeah.
just show it,
Yeah.
but then move on.
That's
Um,
how I see it. I was like, this is stuff that our community has accomplished, but you'll have the deck. You can click and find what you like. Here's how to
yeah.
get
Yeah.
involved.
And then I don't know if you guys have noticed the team has worked on recently some user journey maps on
Yeah.
how to get started for personas. So if you go to openssf.org/get involved, that page has been refreshed. And there are like sort of these find your path steps for software developers, open source program offices, and marketing folks that have nice graphics. I think it's slash get involved. Getting started with OpenSSF. It's that second link there. They
Oh, got
changed
it.
it. It still says get involved is the link, but it says getting started now. So those find your paths, the one, two, three, and then
Yeah.
coming is security engineers. So if you open those up, you can kind of see the journeys that you would take as a software developer. Here's kind of a golden path that we think would lead you to learning a bunch about OpenSSF, right? So these are also something that I think is good to show folks.
Oh, I quite like this. Thank you.
Yeah, floating on the lazy river. Honk.
Yeah.
Yeah. This would be a good resource to share with folks during our
And all
meeting.
of those links are clickable as well, I think. So if you're like, oh, let me check
Oh,
out
wow. Yep.
yes, everything is clickable.
That's cool.
Marketing journey.
I'd
That's
love
great.
to have the one on security engineers soon.
Yeah, well, I think we need some more research there. So if you're a security engineer and you want to give us your feedback on what you think you need to learn, then please reach out. We'll set up an interview.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I'm not sure I can do that.
Okay. So maybe besides like tweaking a couple slides here and there, I don't think we need to do much, right? For Thursday.
No, I think mostly maybe hiding a few slides if we need to. Um, but like I said, I think 14 to I think 18. I'm sorry, 15 to 18 was where we're gonna spend most of our time talking.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of sharing. After we talk about 18, we can go to like the get involved page and show them the click thing, the click
Yeah.
through. Because
I like
I saw
that.
that this morning and I was like, this is amazing.
Mhm.
Um, and then just share the deck. Like this is just additional resources, how to get
Yeah.
involved, things our teams accomplished.
Yeah. I do want to highlight maybe some of the I mean, this job board piece is pretty cool, I think.
Mm.
But I also want to highlight maybe where is it?
I think we might want to pause on the job board thing because I think we're transitioning right now too to a
Ah,
new job board.
okay.
The
We're
timing sucks.
we're going
But
to
yeah,
skip
I
this
think
slide then.
exactly. I just found out this week. I was like, oh gosh, I think we're transitioning to a new platform. So yeah, might want to pause that.
Okay. Thanks for letting us know. Yeah, that's uh yeah, we can maybe just kind of like very generally say like there's an upcoming job board and you know in progress. Um but yeah, I think we can probably just from the MVVSR section, maybe even just highlight the mission and then jump straight to the roadmap. Not saying
Sorry,
that like the value and the sorry, go ahead.
sorry to interrupt. I heard something I do not know what it is, so I just wanted to ask. You mentioned NBVSR. What is
Yes,
that?
MVVSR is the mission, vision, value, strategy, and roadmap.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
it's
I see.
the it's a mouthful for sure. But yeah, so as I was going through the slides, right, there was like a slide that had each of those sections with like the text, the official text for OpenSSF. And that's just what I was saying. I don't know that we need to cover the whole like long text. We can just kind of summarize that. And I think the roadmap with the focus areas for me is probably going to be the most interesting to talk about. But I really need to jump off this call. I have a hard stop. So thank you all for doing this. I hope you join on Thursday and
Thank
see you in
you.
2 weeks. Thank
Thanks,
you to the
everybody.
new
Enjoy the rest of
Yeah.
your day.
Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.